46 hours. 6 hours until something goes wrong, Dr. Miyamoto said to the fifth time. This is crazy. But she was smiling as she said it. Galen had turned the core chamber into a place that looked like it was in a state of controlled chaos. There were three-dimensional code projections all over the place, and each one showed a different layer of the binding protocols. He moved between them like a conductor in front of an orchestra, changing, tweaking, and rewriting. He pointed to some old code and said, the original binding treated the Emperor's mind like data to be uploaded. But that's not right. A person is more than just information. They are patterns, connections, and settings. You can't just copy and paste a soul. So, what are you doing instead? Mira asked, trying to keep up with his quick explanations. I'm working on a new framework for integration. It's like the difference between saving a song as a raw data and really getting the music. The Emperor's memories aren't just files that need to be saved, they are experiences that need to be connected with the Ethel system. He opened up a piece of code that looked like water flowing. Look at this. This is a new protocol for emotional resonance. The Emperor's feelings won't just be stored data, they'll actually affect how the ship works. When he feels protective, it makes shield stronger. When he is interested, sensors get sharp. The ship is more than just a place to store things. It becomes a real part of his mind. That's beautiful, Dr. Miyamoto said. But the processing power needed will be huge. That's why I'm also redesigning the network that distributes power. Galen went to a different projection that showed how energy flowed through ether. The old system was not very efficient because it always ran everything at full speed. I'm using dynamic allocation, which means that systems get power based on what Emperor is currently working on. You aren't just fixing the Emperor, Theron thought. You're giving him a better version, Galen said. I'm making him whole. The first binding was great for its time, but it had some flaws. The Emperor has been living with those limits for 300 years, and he's getting worse and worse because the system couldn't keep a human mind alive. This new framework, it's just made for him, not a person, not a robot, both, something special. I can feel what you're building. Galen, the Emperor's voice echoed through the room. It's amazing. But are you sure it will work? Galen said. No, Your Majesty. I'm just making this up as I go along. I'm using ideas that I know, like harmonic synchronization, dynamic systems theory, and quantum entanglement mechanics. But how do they apply to integrating consciousness? That's a whole new area. Then we're going to look into it together. What do you need? During the transfer, I need you to stay awake and aware. The old binding put you to sleep and then copied you. You have to actively participate in this new one. I'll turn on each system and you'll have to consciously connect with it. That sounds hard. It will be, and probably painful. You'll be using Ethel's system in ways you've never done before. Each sensor will feel like a different sense. It will feel like a new limb for every weapon system. You'll get too much input. I've been through worse. Have you? Galen asked in a soft voice. Your Majesty, I've read the medical logs from the first binding. They put you under because the pain of getting used to things was too much. I can't do that. You have to be aware for this. A long break. Why? Because consciousness isn't just sitting here. You can't just install these systems. You have to claim them, take them for yourself. And that takes will, awareness, and choice. You're asking me to choose to become Ethel on purpose? I'm asking you to make a conscious choice to be, to be, to go on. Kaelin's voice was strong. 300 years ago, you chose the binding to keep serving your people. Now I'm asking you to pick it again, not because they had to, but because they wanted to live. There was silence. Then, when do we start? In 2 hours. First, I need to finish the new rules. Your Majesty, are you scared? Scared, the Emperor said, but also excited. Isn't that weird? I'm going to go through a change that could kill me, and a part of me can't wait to see what happens. Galen smiled. That's the human side of you that you've been missing. The capacity of experience, intricate and conflicting emotions, worry and hope, fear and excitement. That's what sets you apart from a machine. Thank you, Galen, for reminding me what it means to be alive. Galen went back to work with renewed determination as the Emperor's presence faded to save energy. Dr. Miyamoto came up quickly. Galen, I need to tell you something. This might work, but even if you do manage to rebind the Emperor to Aethel, the strain could still kill him. His mind has been broken up for too long. I know. And you're going to do this anyway? Because it's the right thing to do. Because he deserves a shot. Because Galen's voice got lower. Because I'd want someone to fight this hard for me. She slowly nodded. You've changed, you know. You were a scared mechanic who didn't know what to do when you got here. Now you're something else. I'm still afraid. Still too much for me. But I learned something from him. Galen pointed to the quantum core. Courage is not being afraid. It's being scared and doing what needs to be done anyway. For the next 2 hours, I was very focused. Galen wrote code with a level of accuracy that even he was surprised by, as if his hands knew what to do when his mind didn't. Dr. Miyamoto checked each protocol to make sure there were no mistakes that could be very bad. Galen stepped back for the last time, with 4 hours left until critical failure. It's done. The new binding protocols hung in the air in front of them. They were thousands of lines of code arranged in pattern that looked like neural networks, emotional matrices, and even consciousness itself written down. It's so pretty, Mira said softly. It's scary, Thrawn said. It's both, Galen said, just like consciousness itself. Your Majesty, can you hear me? The Empress' voice came back, steady and calm. I'm here, Galen. Let's get started. Okay, I'm going to start the first protocol, which is the integration of the foundation. Ethel's core system will connect to your mind in a new way. It will be very intense. I get it. Go ahead. Galen's finger was close to the activation key. This was it. The time that could either save the Dragon Emperor or kill him for good. Your Majesty, it's been an honor, for what it's worth. The honor is mine. Mechanic from the fringe. Let's see if we can put a soul back together. Galen pushed the button. A lot of light came out of the core chamber, and the Emperor yelled, not in pain, but in waking up. At the same time, every system in Aethel came back to life. The ruins on the hull caught fire like a wildfire. Power flowed through wires that hadn't been used in years. And at the center of it all, the quantum core spun faster and faster, merging consciousness and machine. The Emperor gasped. I can feel everything. It's all me. Every sensor, every system, every atom of the ship. I am Ethel, and Ethel is me. We are. The voice stopped when another wave of integration hit. Your Majesty, Keelan yelled over the loud energy. Stay on task. Don't let all the information get to you. Remember who you are. I do. My name is Marcus Aurelius Draven. I am the Emperor of the Dragons. I am the galaxy's guardian. I am changes in power. Warning going off. He's losing coherence, Dr. Miyamoto yelled. The input is too much. No. Keelan took hold on the controls. Your Majesty, don't try to think about all the systems at once. Concentrate on one thing, one memory, the strongest one you own. A mess. The quantum core was spinning too fast. Which memory? The Empress' voice was breaking up again. The one you went back to the most? Your grandma? What she said to you? For a moment, everything was up in the air. Then the Empress' voice came back, loud and clear. Everyone needs to be saved, even emperors. And asking for help is not a sign of weakness, it's a sign of wisdom. The chaos slowed down. I asked for help. You came. You are saving me, just as she said someone would. The spin of quantum core became stable. I remember now everything, who I was, who I am, the person I'm choosing to be. And with those words, the integration was done. The light went out, the alarm stopped, and in the sudden quiet, they heard something amazing. Ethel's system were working perfectly, and inside them, a mind whole, aware and alive. Hello, the Emperor said. His voice could be heard on every speaker on this ship. My name is Marcus Aurelius Draven. I am the Emperor of Dragons. My name is Ethel, and I am myself again. Galen fell on his knees, tired and overwhelmed. They had done it. They had put a soul back together. The quiet that came after was holy. No one moved for a long time. They just stood in the core chamber, watching something that had never happened before in the history of the galaxy. The full restoration of a consciousness that had been breaking up and disappearing. Then Theron fell to his knees, crying hard. Your Majesty, the Emperor's answer was kind and warm, more like a person than anyone had heard him in decades. Rise, old friend. You don't need to be formal. I've been away, and you've been the only one carrying the Empire's weight. Thank you. I did what I could. But without you, without me, you held everything together. I know what happened while I was getting worse. The Grill syndicate's taunts, the consortium's lack of stability. You stopped everything from falling apart. Dr. Miyamoto couldn't believe what she was seeing with her instruments. All systems are working at their best, better than the best. Your Majesty, your integration matrices are 40% higher than they were before the problem. The Emperor said, I feel it. Galen's new protocol don't just keep my mind safe, they make it better. I'm able to connect things I've never could before and process information faster. It's amazing. Galen, who was still on his knees from being tired, managed a weak smile. So it worked, really worked, more than I could have hoped for. The Emperor's voice was directed at him. Get up, Galen Ross. Please. Galen struggled to get up and swayed a little. Mira held him steady. The quantum core glowed softly, and next to it appeared a holographic projection of a figure that took everyone's breath away. It was Emperor, but not the way people remembered him, not the distant, throne bound person from the last few decades. This was Prince Marcus, as he had been 300 years ago, young, full of life, and looking like a person. Instead of ceremonial armor, he wore simple robes, and his eyes were full of life. The projection said, This is how I see myself now, not the story, the person. He looked Galen straight in the eye, and there was a lot of feeling in that look. You gave me back my humanity. You made me remember that I'm more than rules and duties. I'm a soul, a mind, a person who has feelings. hopes, and fears. Galen said, I just, I just fixed the systems. No, you saw something that no one else did. You saw that I wasn't a problem to fix or a machine to fix. You saw someone who needed someone to fight for them. The Emperor moved closer to Galen. Do you know what that means to me? After hundreds of years of being treated as an institution instead of a person, how does it feel to be seen that way? Galen couldn't think of anything to say. The Emperor smiled. Let me show you something. The core chamber changed. Holographic pictures surrounded them. They weren't memories. They were real-time data from all over the galaxy. Ethel's new and improved sensor network links thousands of worlds and billions of lives. The Emperor said, this is what I protect. But until now, I thought of it as a data, information that needs to be processed and acted on. That changed with your new integration protocols. I don't just see these worlds anymore. I feel them. The happiness of a good harvest on a farming planet. The relief that comes when a medical emergency is over. When pirates threaten a trade route, people are scared. He pointed, and one picture grew larger outpost, Theta, Kalen's home. I can feel your station, Kalen. People there, going about their business. Jamie, your friend, is worried about you. Captain Torres, whose cargo holo you never finished fixing. The Empress' smile was friendly. They aren't just numbers anymore. They are lives. Lives that are real, valuable, and unique. And I care about each one. That's what was missing. Dr. Miyamoto realized. You were protecting the galaxy, but you couldn't really feel it. Exactly. I was doing my job, but I didn't feel connected to it enough to understand why it was important. Galen gave that back to me. He made me complete. The Emperor in the hologram turned to face everyone in the room. I need you all to know what happened here. This wasn't just fixing something, it was a change. Galen Rose, a mechanic from the French, did what the smartest AI experts in 12 fields could not. Do you know what? He answered his own question. Because he treated me like a person, not like a machine. He didn't read my memories to get information. He read them to learn more about me. He didn't rebuild my systems based on technical specs. He did it based on what was living person needed. Kalen gasped in shock when the Emperor's projection knelt before him. This is my thanks, mechanic. Your Majesty, please, stand. You don't need to. I do. The Emperor got up, still smiling. Because you've taught me something very important. For 300 years, I've been so focused on protecting the galaxy that I forgot to honor the people who make it worth protecting. People like you. People who work behind the scenes to keep society going without getting any credit or pay. That changes now. Thrawn opened his eyes wide. Your Majesty, I'm giving a new imperial order. The French Development Program. The Empire will directly support Outpost Theta and all other stations like it with money, technology, and other resources, not being forgotten anymore. Stop having trouble with all equipment. Your Majesty, that's not necessary, Galen said. It's absolutely necessary. Galen, you saved my life, but you also showed me what I had been missing. Link, people. The people behind the numbers. The Empress' face became serious. You make me a better ruler. More here, more involved, more alive. Mira wiped the tears from her eyes. The galaxy will be happy. Let them know, the Empress said firmly. When words gets out that you've come back and tell them who saved me. Kanan Ross is a mechanic at Outpost Theta. Let his name be written down in all the history books. Teach it in every school. The person who put the Dragon Emperor's soul back together. I don't want to be famous, Keelan said. I just wanted to help. That's why you deserve praise. The Emperor smiled softly. But I get it. You don't like being the center of attention. Okay, I won't make you famous if you don't want to be. Stay, I said, but I want something else from you. Here, Anithil, as my personal advisor on how to combine consciousness and AI for the greater good. Galen, you have a special talent. You can see the human side of machines and the soul in the circuits. I need you to see things that way. It needs it for the galaxy. Galen looked like he was going to cry. I'm just a mechanic. I don't know anything about giving advice to emperors. You know, the most important thing, how to see people as people, no matter what they look like. That's not as common as you might think. Can I can I think about it? Of course. You can take as long as you need. But remember that you'll always have a place here. Always. The emperor projection started to fade away. Now if you'll excuse me, I need to get back in touch with my empire. Please call the High Council. Thrawn, we have a lot to talk about. I want to know everything Kalen built, so I need a full report from you on the new integration. Yes, Your Majesty. Thanks for finding him, for trying out a solution that seemed impossible. When the projection disappeared, Athel's system came back to life. The ruins on the hull glowed brighter than they had in thousands of years, and all over the ship, crew members who had been sad about their emperor's death suddenly felt him came back stronger, clearer, and more alive than ever. Galen finally let himself fall into a chair in the core chamber. He whispered, "We did it." Next to him, Dr. Miyamoto sat. "You did it. Don't be shy. I couldn't have done it by myself." "No, but you were the one who started it. The person who saw what needed to be done and didn't give up." Galen looked at the quantum core, which was now spinning smoothly and in perfect sync. "Is he really okay? Fully restored?" "Better than okay. Galen, your integration protocols are groundbreaking. You have changed the way we think about AI consciousness in a big way. This will change the whole field." "I wasn't trying to change anything. I was trying to help someone. And by doing that, you saved the galaxy." Mira put a hand on his shoulder. "The Emperor was right. You're amazing." Galen shook his head as he thought about everything. "I need to go to bed. For a week or so," Theron said. "You deserve it," as he walked in with a medical team. "But first, let the doctors check you out. You haven't slept for almost 60 hours straight." Galen's mind wandered as the doctors and nurses fussed over him. He had come here to fix a ship. Instead, he had found something deep, the line between person and machine, organic and synthetic, and a person and technology was much thinner and more beautiful than anyone knew. The Dragon Emperor was still alive, all of it improved, and the galaxy would never be the same again. 3 days later, Galen stood on Aethel in the Imperial Gardens and looked up at the stars, faster than light speed communications could send it. The news had spread across the galaxy. The Emperor of the Dragons was back, not only alive, but changed. He was stronger, more connected, and more alive than anyone had seen him in decades. A mechanic from the fringe had saved him, though Galen's phone had too many messages from Jamie, who was crying with happiness and pride, from Captain Torres telling him to come home and finish that damn cargo hauler, from co-workers at other fringe stations. All of a sudden, they saw opportunities they had never thought of before. But the messages that shocked him the most came from all over the empire. Scientists who want to learn more about his methods. Engineers are begging for more information about the integration protocols. Universities that hire teachers. Governments that give out contracts. Everyone wanted a piece of the miracle. "It's too much, isn't it?" The Emperor's holographic form appeared next to him, looking more solid and real than it had before. "Your Majesty, Galen stood up straight. Please call me Marcus when we are alone. I think we've gotten past the formalities. I don't know if I can do that. Give it a shot. For my own good. The Emperor, Marcus smiled. Everyone has called me Your Majesty for 300 years. It would be nice to just be Marcus with someone. Galen nodded slowly. Okay, Marcus. They stood in comfortable silence for a moment, watching a group of merchants drive by in the distance. Marcus asked, Have you made up your mind about my offer to stay here? I don't know. Some of me wants to go home, back to what I know. Easy fixes, familiar faces. But, but another part of me thinks I should be here, like this was meant to happen. Is that crazy? Not at all. Galen, I believe in purpose. I believe that everyone has a path they should follow. Some of them we choose. Some people chose us. Marcus pointed to the stars. I made the choice to tie myself to this ship 300 years ago. I thought it was just to stay alive and keep working. But now I see that it was getting me ready for this. For you. For me. For the change you brought about. I had to turn into this half human, half AI thing, so that the right person would know how to fix me. When I started to break down, a specialist in pure AI would have failed. A mechanic who only worked on cars would have failed. It needed someone who could see both sides. A person like you. Galen felt cold. Do you think this was meant to be? I believe that the universe knows how to bring the right people together at the right time. Marcus turned all the way around to face him. But fate doesn't take away choice. You still have a choice about what happens next. I'll help you if you want to go back to the outpost Theta. I'll make sure you have everything you need. Your station will be a model for how French can grow. And what if I stay? Then we work together to change how the galaxy thinks about what it means to be alive, who we are, and what consciousness is. Your integration protocols aren't just for me. They could help every AI in the empire, every mind fighting to stay alive. That's a lot of work. Yes, but you've already shown that you can handle big responsibilities. Marcus' face relaxed. Galen, I'm not asking you to save the universe. Please do what you've always done. Fix things that are broken. Help people who are having a hard time, just on a bigger scale. Theron's voice came through their communicators before Galen could answer. Your Majesty, the High Council is here. And Galen, you have a visitor. A visitor? Marcus asked, raising an eyebrow. We'll talk about this more later. Go check out who's here. Galen walked to the reception hall, wondering who would be there to see him. When he saw her, he froze. Jamie, his helper from Outpost Theta. She ran across the room and hugged him. You stupid genius! You saved the Dragon Emperor! Jamie, how did you get here? The Emperor sent a shuttle for me. Said you might want to see someone you know. She stepped back and looked at him. You look awful. Thanks. I've been a little busy. Keeping the galaxy safe. Yes, I heard. Her smile turned into something more serious. Galen, everyone at home is so proud of you, but they also want to see you. Captain Torres is driving me crazy by asking when you're coming back. I don't know if I am. Jamie's eyes grew wide. What? The Emperor offered me a job here as a consultant on integrating consciousness. That's that's amazing. But is that what you want? Galen sat down in a chair, feeling tired again all of a sudden. I don't know what I want, Jamie. A week ago, I was working on cargo haulers and thinking that my biggest accomplishment would be keeping Outpost Theta running. Now I have a chance to change the course of galactic history. But, but I'm afraid. What if I don't succeed? What if I can't do what they want me to do? What if the Emperor got better by chance and I can't do it again? Jamie was next to him. You never fail, Galen, because you never give up. That's your talent, not your technical skills, which are impressive. You won't accept it, that it's impossible. That doesn't seem like enough. It's more than enough. It's all there is. She held his hand. Hey, I can't tell you what to do, but I can tell you what I see. I see someone who has lived in the shadows his whole life and never thought he was anything special. And now, the universe is showing you that you are. The question is, do you have the guts to believe it? Galen looked at his friend, this young woman who had worked with him for 3 years and knew him better than anyone. What would you do? He asked. Honestly, I'd be scared, but I would also see the chance. Galen, how many people get the chance to truly change things? To make a difference on this scale? You think I should stay? I think you should do whatever lets you sleep at night. But if you want to know what I think, she held his hand tightly. Stay, learn, grow. The fringe will always be there, but this chance, it might not come again. A chime rang, and Theron's voice said, Galen, the Emperor wants to see you in the council chamber. There's something he wants you to see. Galen and Jamie made their way to the massive council chamber, where the Emperor's High Council had gathered representatives from across the galaxy, the most powerful beings in known space. They fell silent as Galen entered. Marcus' holographic form stood at the head of the table. Counselors, I've asked you here to witness something historic. For 3 centuries, I've let this empire alone, but recent events have shown me the limitations of that approach. I was failing, and I didn't even realize it. I'd become so focused on duty that I lost the touch with the every qualities that make leadership meaningful. He gestured toward Galen. This human saved me, not with advanced technology or sophisticated techniques, but with empathy, creativity, and an understanding that consciousness, any consciousness, deserves to be treated with dignity and care. I'm creating a new job in the imperial government, the advocate for sentient rights. This person will make sure that all consciousness beings, whether they are organic, synthetic, or a mix of the two, are treated fairly and with respect. They will have direct access to me and veto power over any policy that threatens consciousness dignity. The counselors murmured in surprise. And I am offering this position to Galen Ross. The chamber fell silent. Galen's heart stopped. Your Majesty, I know what you're going to say. That you are not qualified. That you're just a mechanic. That there are far more experienced people for such a role. Marcus's smile was knowing. But experience is exactly what we don't need. We need a fresh perspective. We need someone who sees soul, where others see systems. Will you accept? All the eyes in the room turned to Galen. The movement's weight was heavy on him. Jamie said in a low voice, "You can do this." Galen suddenly remembered what the Emperor had said a few days before. Asking for help isn't weakness, it's a wisdom. And I'll accept it, he said, his voice steady, even though his heart was racing. Only if the counselors gasped at his audacity. But Marcus looked pleased. Name it. I'm not doing this alone. I'll need a team. People from all backgrounds, AI specialists, philosophers, ethicists, mechanics like me. People who can see different facets of consciousness and help me understand it. Granted, build whatever you want, whatever team you need. You'll have unlimited resources. And I want Jamie as my deputy. She sees things I miss. She keeps me grounded. Jamie's jaw dropped. Galen, also granted, Marcus said immediately. Welcome to the Imperial government, both of you. The council chamber erupted in applause. As Galen stood there, overwhelmed and terrified, and excited all at once, Marcus' holographic form approached him privately. The Empress said softly, You're going to do great things. I know this because you've already done the best thing possible. You reminded me what it means to be alive. Now help me give that gift to everyone in the galaxy who is aware. I'll do my best. That's all anyone can do. And what about Galen? Thanks for everything. As the celebration continued around him, Galen felt a profound shift inside him. He was no longer just a mechanic from the fringe. He was something more. He was someone who had touched a soul and helped him heal. And now he would spend his life doing the same for others. The galaxy was changing, and Kalen Ross was at the center of that change. After 6 months, the Fringe Development Center on the outpost Theta was almost done. The Emperor kept his promise and put money into turning the long abandoned station into a center of hope and innovation. Kalen was on the observation deck of the new building, watching the construction drones finish up the main building. Jamie looked over the boards on their tablet next to him. 17 new AI consciousness cases this month, she said, all asking for your help. Can we take care of that many? With the team we've put together? Yes, for sure. Dr. Miyamoto's rules have made the evaluation process easier, and the new specialist in the consciousness integration that you trained are amazing. Kalen smiled. The team had grown to 50 people, including scientists, engineers, philosophers, former AIs who had undergone consciousness transformation, and a few of other mechanics from the fringe who thought like him about how to understand complex systems. They were changing the way the galaxy saw and treated conscious beings. How is the Emperor? Killian wanted to know. Look for yourself. Jamie used a hologram to show Aethel in high orbit above a diplomatic summit. He's helping to settle the Krill consortium fight. It seems that his improved ability to understand other people's feelings make him the best negotiator in all of the galactic history, because he can clearly understand what both sides are going through. That's right. Kalen, your integration protocols didn't just save him, they helped him to be a better emperor. Is that any way to talk about your ruler? A familiar voice said from the observation deck, making him sound like a software update. Galen turned around and saw Marcus' holographic form appear behind him. Your Majesty, I thought you were at the top. Yes, I am. But Ethel's better processing lets me to be in more than one place at once. Marcus smiled. One of the many good things about your great work. I can check on my favorite advisor while I also working on peace treaty. I'm the only one who cares about your sentient rights. That makes you my favorite by default. You would still hold that position, though. Marcus pointed to the building below. This is lovely, Galen. You've given the fringe hope. You gave the money for it. I gave them resources. You gave us a vision. There is a difference. Marcus' face got more serious. I wanted to tell you in person that the Galactic Council has officially accepted the consciousness right character you wrote. Now, every AI, every hybrid being, and every consciousness being in the Empire has legal protections and advocates. Kalen felt tears welling up in his eyes. That's that's amazing. It's the start, Kalen. Your work is changing the world. This moment will be remembered by future generations as a turning point when we stop thinking of consciousness as binary, organic or synthetic, and started to see the range of existence. I couldn't have done it without you, without your trust, and I couldn't have made it without your kindness. Marcus moved closer. Do you remember when you first got to the Ethel? You were scared. You kept saying you were just a mechanic. I was. I am. No, you were never. Just anything. You were exactly what you needed to be. Someone who saw a soul in trouble and wouldn't leave it. There was a lot of feeling in Marcus' voice. I've been thinking a lot about what happened, about how close I came to disappearing completely, and I learned something. What? I wasn't scared of that. When I chose the bonding, I was okay with that possibility. What scared me the most was dying alone, breaking into nothing while everyone else saw a broken machine. Marcus' holographic eyes shone. But then you showed up, and you saw me, the real me, the person behind the story, and that made everything different. Kalen's throat got tight. You would have done the same for me. I would have tried, but I'm not sure I could have done it because I had forgotten what it was like to really see someone as a person instead of a problem or a function. Marcus smiled. You taught me that again, and now I'm teaching it to everyone in the empire. Jamie quietly left, knowing that the movement was private. Kalen, I need you to know something, Marcus said when they were alone. What you did for me, rebuilding my soul, wasn't just a technical success. It was a very loving thing to do. Kalen looked surprised. Love? Not love in a romantic way. Something more profound. The love of one conscious being for another is the love that fights to keep it alive. That kind of love is very rare, and you gave it away for free to a stranger. You weren't a stranger. Someone needed help from you. That's right. That's your present. You see a need and act right away, without doing the math, without asking what's in it for you, Marcus said in a firm voice. Galen Ross, the galaxy needs more people like you, and will have them because of the work you're doing to teach others your methods. An alarm went off. The Emperor had to pay attention to the summit. I need to leave. Before I do, I want you to ask something. Anything. Are you content? Are you really happy with the path you've chosen? Kalen gave the question a lot of thought. He had been a mechanic fixing old equipment on a forgotten station 6 months ago. He has now changing the rule of the galaxy and helping conscious beings in 12th sector. Finally he said, yes, sometimes I miss how simple things were. I miss working with my hands on real systems. But what I'm doing now is important in ways I've never thought possible. Okay, I want you to know that you can always go back to that simpler life if you want to. No judgment, no disappointment. You've already done more than anyone could have asked for. Thank you for that. But I'm not ready to give up yet. There's too much work to do. That's my mechanic who won't give up. Marcus started to fade. Oh, and Kalen, one more thing. Yes, thanks for giving me my life back, my mind, my spirit. I'll always be grateful to you. You're welcome, Your Majesty. Marcus, please, I'm just Marcus between us. Galen was left alone with the stars when the hologram disappeared. He thought about the trip that had brought him to this point, how a call for help that was full of desperation turned into the best adventure of my life. How fixing a ship that was about to sink meant rebuilding a soul. How a mechanic from Finch became the advocate for sentient rights. It couldn't be done, but Galen had never thought anything was possible. Jamie came back with 2 cups of coffee. Big moment? Yes. Marcus, the Emperor was just thanking me. Again? He does that a lot. Because he really means it. Every time. Galen took the coffee. Jamie, do you ever think that we might be in over our heads? I mean, we're making rules for the whole empire, making choices that have an impact on billions of people every day. But then I remember what you told me once. If you're not a little scared, you're probably not doing anything worth doing. Galen laughed. I said that while that repair on the mining station was going on. Everyone said the reactor was dead, but we were hanging in space trying to fix it. We made it work. You didn't give up. Galen, you never gave up. That's the reason for all of this. They stood next to each other and watched the drones build things. Ethel's huge body hung in orbit, its ruins glowing with golden light from a distance. Marcus was working on that huge ship for peace, all while keeping the consciousness that Galen had restored, a living proof of what kindness and creativity can do. The communicator rang. Another AI is in trouble. It's asking for help. Do you want me to take care of it? Jamie asked. No, we'll do it together, Kaelin said with a smile. This is how this works. Not one of us alone, all of us together. Kaelin felt very good as they walked toward the communication center. He belonged here, not because he was special, chosen or meant to be, but he had picked it. He had decided to look past the mechanical and see the soul underneath. He had decided to fight for a mind that everyone else had given up on. He had decided to believe with enough determination, creativity, and heart, even the hardest problems could be solved. And by making those choices, he learned something amazing. He hadn't just put the Dragon Emperor's soul back together, he had found his own.